Hey, welcome back to the Successful Lead Generating Coaches Show. My name is Arfan with Grow Automate Scale, and today I'm going to talk about, your ads aren't broken, your pages. And what I mean by that is the factors and the levers that go into your landing page and sales page conversion rates, okay? So most people think that their ad isn't converting because the ad is weak, but the truth is the landing page could be weak. It doesn't matter how good your targeting or creative is. If your landing page isn't converting, you're leaking money out. And there's a few things you can look at, especially when, let's say, you have a free workshop or a masterclass or a challenge, any sort of free thing that you're advertising on Facebook to be able to attract more clients for your coaching business or more clients to sell courses to, or even if you're a service-based person and you're advertising something to attract another client, okay? One of the things that we recently did at a really, really great scale for our client is, and it was a really big win, right? So they've been running an ad for quite a while now, over a few years, and they've optimized it for it to convert pretty good. So they're getting a pretty consistent ROAS, and they're spending enough money to where the 1.5, 1.7 ROAS, return on ad spend, actually still pretty profitable in the grand scheme of things because it's such a large ad spend. So as I was looking through all the data, as they hired us on, I used my gas system, and the G in the gas system was for grow. I mean, look at what are the different ways that we can grow, right? You can increase ad spread, that's the way to grow, and you can also increase conversions, that's also another way to grow. So when we're looking at this, I was like, hey, the page is a pretty big bottleneck. We're getting a 17% conversion rate, 23% conversion rate here and there. So what I did was I was like, hey, let's split this up. Let's do 4 different pages. So we ran 4 different pages, ran a pretty extensive landing page test for 2 weeks, and it was very clearly evident that the page that they were currently running was doing decent, was doing okay. Some pages didn't perform in our test, some was even lower than the current one. But then we identified one of these pages that was converting at 12% higher than all the other pages. So we flipped the ads around, we introduced this new page to already existing and working ads, and lo and behold, what you have it is more conversions are happening. They went from a 1.3, 1.5, 1.6 SROAS, and over the past 2 weeks have consistently been doing over a 2x return on ad spend. And this happens to just be because of changing the landing page. What's happening now, the same spend as before is now bringing in more leads because it's converting higher, okay? And what we've observed in this, is there's really 3 things that really kills and crush landing page conversions. So one of them was the vague headlines. That's one of the biggest things we changed, that each of the page had a different headline, and we saw that the one that had the most of the clearest, that was the one that was very, very specific, was converting the best. And this is what we see over and over again. And there's a saying that the headline is responsible for 80% of your landing page conversion rate, and we see that to be somewhat true. Okay, a bad headline or a headline that's not positioned well isn't going to convert as many people. Okay, the next thing is that they don't have the social proof, meaning that either they don't have a big social following on their own Instagram or Facebook page, then there's no social proof on their page itself. So even if you're a beginner, you should be able to get some testimonials from people, whether you're exchanging free, something free to get a testimonial. But as advanced, whenever you're advanced, you have testimonials and you have social proof. It's just not being shown. We want to make sure we're showing these social proof. We want to have our testimonial spot. We want to have screenshots from or social media where people are shouting us out, anything like that, okay? And then the third thing is bad mobile formatting. Now, if you're designing your pages on your desktop, a lot of times we're very much in a mindset of we're optimizing this as best as we can, but it's being optimized on desktop, and sometimes that doesn't translate to mobile. So I always want to make sure you're checking your mobile pages using dev tools such as Google PageSpeed Tester. And what this does, it shows you an analytic report as far as like how long is your page taking to load, what are the issues, is the image size is too big, or there's a number of different things that can happen, whether it's bad scripts on the page, maybe you have an embed, and that embed is actually taking up a lot of like memory bandwidth and is making your page load slow. And we're talking specifically on mobile, because on desktop you can hit all the check marks and score really great. So you want to have a mobile first landing page, okay? Now, let's talk about, let's say you have this leak. How are you going to be able to spot the leak? And there's some basic audits that you can do right now. So one is to just, of course, test your what's the conversion rate. So look in your ads manager, look at how much link clicks you've had, landing page views, whichever metric you want to use. We just keep it simple. We say our link clicks and our results. Okay, so if you have 1,000 link clicks and 100 leads, that's a 10% conversion rate. 1,000 link clicks, 200 leads, 20%. You kind of get the idea. So just do the math on that. Just leads divided by your total link clicks, and you'll be able to get your conversion rate on that. So you want to be able to identify your conversion rate first and be able to know, okay, what's my benchmark for improvement? Am I having an issue or not? So if you're below 30% as a free offer, a free guide, or a free workshop or something like that, you're potentially having an issue. You really want to be about, over 30%. Especially with something that, hey, you can just sign up for any time. There could be a disconnect, right? It could be lower if you're having some sort of qualifier where you have like a pre-form or pre-questions that they have to fill out before they can submit a lead, be able to submit their lead form. Then you will see a higher, lower conversion rate. That's because you're filtering people out, maybe for income or pain point or problem or occupation, whatever the case may be. You're filtering them out, so you're going to notice a lower conversion rate there, okay? So now once you see that, the next thing to do is to look at your page on mobile, okay? Is your button, is the relative information above the fold, like the first thing they see? And I've audited a lot of pages, and one of the biggest common culprit is that there's a certain image on desktop, and when you look on mobile, that's the entire screen. The entire screen is that image. And surprisingly or not, it's like, why does that play a big role? It just does. In our experience, based off of actual behavior of the audience, it does. It plays a big role. And we're talking about 10, 15%, difference in conversion rate when it's not loading up right off the bat, okay? Or they're not getting the hit that, yes, this is the right page for me, because they're just seeing an image that maybe don't even resonate with that image, okay? So always look at your mobile page to make sure that the imaging and the text is showing up right away, okay? The next thing as well is to also look at your ads and look at different audiences you're advertising. You should be advertising to different audiences to find out which pool is working for you. So look and see if you have, let's say, 5 audiences. Are all 5 of these audiences converting at the same rate? Now, you may be able to see, hey, there's one audience converting at 40%, another at 15%. That's why I'm averaging 20%. If that's the case, well, that audience that's a 15% conversion rate may not be the best one for you right now. And depending on how much budget you're using, it might be in your best interest to shut that audience off and have the budget go to the audiences that are converting better. And guess what? You found the leak. You actually don't have a problem with conversion rate. It's just that audience, the offer wasn't as relevant. Okay? And that happens. That's okay. That's why we test audience. Because you imagine running only one audience and one ad, and then it's converting at 12%, and then you're like, I give up. Ads don't work. That's what happens so many times with a lot of coaches because they don't know exactly what to be looking for, okay? So those are some tips to spot the leaks, okay? So to put this into perspective, again, using our GAS system, this is the G, the grow portion. When we're looking at, if my ads aren't working, like I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to get the right messaging across and the right setup and the right structure across so I can grow. And this is where landing page testing and landing page audits come into a big role, because a lot of times you can have a great and amazing ad that's actually doing its job, but then the page isn't converting. And there's 2 schools of thoughts here. It's like, okay, well, the ad's not working. Well, the ad is working, the landing page isn't working. So you can work on changing the messaging on the ad to attract more of the right person that's going to convert for that offer. Or, since you already have, if you have really great ad metrics, you can say, all right, I'm going to make some tweaks to my landing pages so that way I can actually convert this traffic that's coming to me. Okay? So depending on which boat you're in, you have to make a choice in that. So I always look at it, if I have an actual store, and let's say I'm selling supplements, and I'm selling a particular line of supplements in my store, and I get in one day 100 people come into my store, and only 4 or 5 customers actually purchase. Well, I have to now say, okay, well, how can I get more people to come into my store who are going to be actually interested in the supplements I'm selling? Or I need to look at introducing some supplements in my store that's going to actually sell more. And whichever school of thought you're at is like they're both okay. It's just a matter of which choice do you make depending on where you're at, okay? So it's like if you're in a place and you're getting the traffic, a lot of times the lower hanging fruit is to say, okay, well, how can I actually optimize this traffic I'm getting, especially if I'm getting a lot of great low costing traffic that's mine to a client. It's like, well, I want to convert more of those. And sometimes it can just be tweaking your headline, and you'll all of a sudden go from a 20% to 35% or 40%. Okay? So try these tips out. Hope this will be helpful to you. And don't forget, the opportunity to book a complimentary scale ask call is available. If you're thinking that, hey, I need an extra set of eyes on my ads, I'm not happy with the way my VA is running my ads, or I'm not really able to get enough data to make decisions, or maybe you just don't even know what decisions to make with the data you do have, and you want an expert pair of eyes to help you out, schedule a free 30-minute complimentary scale ask call with me. And what we'll do is we'll be able to look over your entire your account. We'll be able to put together a strategy that's going to work for you. Okay. And if you want to learn more about mistakes that coaches will make with ads, sign up for our free training. It's www.rfonestay.com/gas system. What I'll do is I'll break down the 7 most common mistakes coaches are making with Facebook ads and what you can do instead. So sign up for that training. It's totally free. It takes about 25 minutes, and I go through the entire process. But everyone who saw that, they're like, wow, I'm guilty of number 3. I'm guilty of number 4. Number 5 was me all day. So you want to be able to look at these things and avoid these mistakes. You can start getting better results. And if it all makes sense to you, I do look forward to maybe meeting up on Zoom and we can chat on a call. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit subscribe, share this with someone who might find it interesting, and I'll catch you on the next video.